We tell stories and our story is tennis. G'day, g'day. Welcome to this Australian Open Live. It is qualifying day 3 at the US Open 2023 in Flushing Meadows, New York, where the temperature has been really kind to the New York crowd so far this week, with their temperature up around 23 to 27 degrees. And It's not been too kind to them today at around 6:40 in New York. It's foggy, 19 degrees. What's going on there? I don't know. But here in Melbourne, Australia, in the production studios of Wise Words Media, the producer of this Australian Open Live, it is a sunny morning here, a brisk winter's morning at about 8:40 in the morning, local Australian time. And today we've got a great match to get straight into, so let's not muck around. Don't go away. We'll be right back. G'day, welcome back to this Australian Open Live. It is qualifying day 3, US Open 2023 for the men's singles qualifying we're covering today, and we've got a cracker of a match for you today, which we'll just get that up now. And they're into their second set. We're covering matches today, so we'll just get up to speed with this match. We'll be covering this match between Liam Broady of the United Kingdom. He is the 10th seed in qualifying. He is up against De Jong of the Netherlands. They've already played one set. And Liam Broady, he must have slept in. He's lagging a bit like our laptop here. We've got a bit of lag, so hopefully that's not interfering too much with your viewing experience. Liam Broady went down love 6 in the first set on court 7, and they're just about to tick over into the second hour of this match as De Jong is in a bit of strife here. He's lost his opening service game of the second set, and he is trailing love 2 in the second set, and it's on serve. Liam Broady has, he must have got a rocket from his coach. Isn't it interesting that the Grand Slams now, players can interact directly with their coaches as the tournament matches are going on? What do you think of that? I'm not a big fan of it myself. I think tennis is a sport where it's the skills and the mentality and the drive of the individual to get them through to a result, to get them through and progress their games through to the next round of whatever tournament they're playing. And I think you can be a very smart tennis player with drive and motivation. You might not be the best, the highest skilled player, but maybe you rely on your instincts and your gut feel and and your street smarts to get ahead. And let's see if Liam Broady of the United Kingdom, the 10th seed, has got those street smarts, and he has a break point up against de Jong of the Netherlands to go to a 3-love lead in the second set. So he'll be pleased to achieve that. We'll just wait for this point to play out. He's got a break point ahead. The second serve from de Jong is fairly tame and going down at 68 miles per hour. And Liam Broady says thank you very much and gives it all the disrespect he can muster and pummels a shot back across the net to de Jong, who loses his service game for the second time in the second set. That Liam Broady's return brought up a forced error on the forehand. Great work by Liam Broady, and you expect nothing less from this bloke because he although he's ranked 108 in the world, he's just missed out on main draw qualifying. We've got a great match on our hands this morning first up, so let's just take a breath and have a look at this. So whenever you hear that stinger, it just signifies that we're just switching it up, switching topics. But for the moment, we're just taking a breath because we've been madly putting together a clip, a bonus clip for you of the first of our live stream matches we covered 2 days ago now. That we had a match there between it was the Balkans grudge match between Borna Gojo and Hamid Medjidojic. And that was a very entertaining set that we covered, and we've got a full replay of the coverage of that match, and we're going to save it up as a bit of a just to keep you in the mood. Once this tournament finishes, we'll be putting up full replays of every single match that we cover live during these qualifying rounds, the 4 days of the qualifying rounds, both men's and women's. We covered 3 women's matches yesterday, and there was a corker amongst those. An absolute screamer of a match, a ripping match on day one in the men's, where the young 20-year-old from Lyon in France, the unseeded young Giovanni, got up against the far more experienced 29-year-old Brazilian Monteiro. That was a corker of a match. So we've got a full replay of that for you to enjoy after the US Open, because let's face it, we want to just string out the anticipation factor leading into next year's Australian Open. So let's just go back to these chaps.
This stop is Spring Street.
We tell stories, and our story is tennis, usually, but not right now because play has been suspended in the match on Court 7. Currently, we are following live the match between Liam Broady, the 10th seed in qualifying, and it's men's qualifying singles round 2 at Flushing Meadows, and after an hour and 11 minutes, play was suddenly suspended where Liam Broady was on a tear. He was ripping back into that match after having lost the first set, love 6, and breaking the serve of Jesper de Jong of the Netherlands. He's unseeded, and broke the serve of de Jong twice in the second set, and was looking, for all intents and purposes, well on his way to rectifying that first set loss. Well, guess what? Players been suspended, and all right, for all of you who are listening to me rant and rave about some of the reasons why, because I was going on a rant, and I felt myself going on a rant, and I thought, no, hang on a second, let's just calm down, and it turns out actually that the reason play's been suspended, because it is 19 and foggy in New York at the moment, where it is just ticked over 7 o'clock in the evening, but play is currently suspended due to rain. There's a light mist in the air which makes courts unsuitable for play, and the US Open will make a decision no later than it's a cliffhanger, so we'll just go across to the US Open Facebook page there and just check out the decision, because usually play for the US Open goes pretty late into the evenings, whether it's qualifying or tournament play, and it is going to be, they'll make a decision no later than 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the US coast, the US East Coast. That's Eastern Time on the US East Coast, whether to proceed with the matches for the evening. So let's cross our fingers and do all the usual cliches that come with these things. And I'm just going to put in the chat a couple of messages left on the US Open Facebook page. I don't think I'll get into trouble for putting this here, will I? Slim Santos, I hate water and I love Nadal. Vamos. Oh dear. Now I'm going to put these in just for a bit of fun, to keep us occupied while waiting. So let's just straighten up for a second. That currently in New York it is 7:02, just gone around after 7, and I can't see the sun coming out. I can't see fog. They're describing it as fog on the website that I'm looking at, but I can't see them. I can't see. I don't think there'll be further play tonight, but there's an hour and a half to go, so let's just keep it all in check I'm just plugging in for a bit of fun some comments from some comments from some of the Facebook followers here of the US Open website, Facebook page rather. So I won't read those out. You can check that yourself. It's quite entertaining, which normally I wouldn't go to a Facebook page for any sort of entertainment, but we'll stop here. You can see that tennis fans worldwide are not thrilled at all. Now, I can see some people saying, why haven't they got a roof? Well, you can't put a roof on every single outdoor court, to be fair. So let's take a short break. Don't go away. We will be right back. And dry. We tell stories, and our story is tennis, and our story today is also the weather at the US Open 2023, qualifying for the men's singles and the women, but today we're just focusing on the men. Day 3, Flushing Meadows, New York. And if you're just joining us, where have you been? We've been waiting for you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So the summary is that around about 10 to 15 minutes ago, the match that we're covering live, men's qualifying singles round 2 on court 7, they've been going for an hour and 11 minutes. The match between the 10th seed in qualifying for men's singles, Liam Broady of the United Kingdom. He served up a shocker in the first set, going down love 6 to his opponent, unseeded from the Netherlands, Jesper de Jong. And Liam Broady decided to get down to business, and he broke de Jong twice in the second set and went to a 4-love lead. And just as he was patting himself on the back and swapping a couple of knowing smiles with the team in his coach's box, play was suspended due to rain. Currently in New York, 7:06 p.m. It's still 19 degrees. It's still foggy, according to the website, but my guess is that if play suspended due to rain, it's probably a foggy, misty rain, more than likely. So as the US Open has announced through their social media, US Open Tennis Championships play is currently suspended due to rain. There is a light mist in the air which makes courts unsuitable for play. We will make a decision no later than 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Eastern Time on the US East Coast. There in New York, and it will be 8:30 local time in New York on whether to proceed with the matches as scheduled for the evening. So let's just stick around for a while, because Wise Words Media, we're looking to bring you every moment of qualifying through the schedule over these 4 days of qualifying rounds, and we're also going to bring you the first 2 days of the of tournament play as well, because that's where the tears, the tantrums, the upsets, the surprises, where unknown players who've made it through qualifying or have been given direct entry with wildcard entries, that's where they might make their mark. Or it might just be the same old procession of all the names that we've come to know over the last decade and a half. So it would be nice to see some breakthrough performances in those first couple of days. So, having said all that, and whenever you hear that stinger, we're switching it up a gear. So let's just take a deep breath, and for those of you who are joining us for the first time, or maybe you are returning after some time, or where have you been? We're really pleased at Wise Words Media to bring you this development, this accelerating and escalating improvement and changes in the way we bring you content for the Australian Open. So we've evolved into covering all of the Grand Slams, and mainly focusing on the qualifying, because we've got to find a niche. And it's fair to say that the mainstream media, even the tennis media, doesn't cover qualifying to the depth and the degree that Wise Words Media, this Australian Open Life, that's been our niche ever since we started, and also introducing you to wildcards and filling up on the news of who's been given wildcards and their backgrounds, and just educating people and ourselves about emerging players, or maybe there's players that are just entering the sunset of their career, and they've got to go through those Challenger Tour tournaments to keep their rankings points buoyant, so they can get into the main draw of each Grand Slam. And a good example of that is Liam Broady, ranked 108 in the world, just missing out on a top 100 ranking where he can get direct entry into the US Open for 2023. And he's got to fight his way through 3 rounds of qualifying just to get to the service line in the first round of the US Open 2023. So that's our niche, and we'll be sticking with match play until 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time in New York. It's currently 9:10 local time here in Melbourne, Australia, where we're based. But we'll stick it out because there's plenty to talk about, and we have yet to go into the background of these players, because while play is going on, what we like to do is fill you in and educate our audience, and just give them some information that, it's easy for us to find it because that's our bread and butter. But why go to all the trouble of looking through all the different apps and websites and using your iPhone and your iPad, and I don't know what you're using to watch the tennis or listen to us online, but let us do all the hard work for you. So that's what we're going to do while play is currently still suspended in the match on court 7 between Liam Broady of the United Kingdom. He's the 10th seed in qualifying, trying to get through to the first round main draw of the US Open, and he's up against an unseeded opponent from the Netherlands, Jesper de Jong. The match currently 6-love. De Jong taking out the first set. He lost his first and only 2 service games of the second set. He trails love 4 in the second set. Play is currently suspended. The match had been going an hour and 11 minutes. So when we come back, we will just take a look at the background of these guys and let you know how they've been going in the lead up during the US hardcourt season, and how they came to be playing off against each other in the men's qualifying singles in the second round of qualifying at the US Open 2023. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
And we are absolutely delighted to be with you tonight for this very special Queen Victoria Market night market, which is all about welcoming our international students. Students over the last 3 years, and we've also been so grateful to those who stayed for persisting and showing so much resilience. Our attendance back in Victoria, which is 92% of pre-pandemic levels. Because international students aren't just valuable on our campuses and in our tertiary institutions, they're fantastic customers and consumers. They're wonderful participants and volunteers. They're incredible workers in our local businesses particularly, and this is about setting up relationships for the long term. If you are an international student, could you please put your hand up?
We tell stories, and our story is how the weather is impacting the tennis in New York. And sorry, a slightly longer delay there from that break than normally would be the case, because just wanted to get our facts straight. Actually, just wanted to make sure we had our facts straight. And it's, oh dear. Talk about professionals here at Wise Words Media. We started off speculating that the fog was actually caused by bushfires in Canada and Hawaii and California. That's not the case. And then we went to old mate Facebook and talk about fake news. We've never been guilty of spreading that before. But the information we gave you about play being judged as whether to, we will make a decision by 8:30 p.m. tonight. That was taken very unprofessionally from the US Open Facebook page, a post that was 12 years ago. How embarrassing. So we've gone to the source, the US Open official website, where 26 minutes ago play was suspended again, and it turns out for the second time during match play for the qualifying singles in New York, that 4 hours ago there was rain all across New York, obviously in the grounds there of Flushing Meadows, and for the second time 26 minutes ago, maybe about 35, that play was suspended again. So our live match coverage of the match on Court 7 between Liam Broady of Great Britain, he's the 10th seed in men's qualifying, and it's the second round today on day 3. He's playing Jesper de Jong of the Netherlands, who ripped right through that first set. And Liam Broady must have been, I don't know, distracted by the rain or something. You'd think, being from Great Britain, you'd think he'd be used to playing in the rain. But anyway, he got his act together, took 2 very easy service games off Jesper de Jong of the Netherlands, and then that's when play was suspended. So let's get our act together with this. And whenever you hear that stinger, we're switching up gears. So let's while we're just waiting for any official word about play restarting, we're going to stick with it here. And just with these 2 chaps, let's just have a look at their background. So let's look at Jesper de Jong and just have a look at his background. And we're going to share this information with you because that's our bread and butter, finding out everything there is to know about these players. So you can find all this information in the public domain yourself, but we're happy to share it. So let's just have a look at the bio for Jesper de Jong. From the Netherlands, he is a right-handed, two-handed backhand player. His coach currently Jeroen Bernard, and his bio doesn't really have a whole lot of information there. Maybe it got washed away by the rain. So we'll have a look at his ITF Tour profile and see if there's more information. There is sometimes the case when players are breaking through from the junior ranks. Well, he started playing professionally in 2018, and his rank at the end of 2018 was 1122, and obviously has steadily risen over the last 5 years, and he progressed pretty well through that COVID period as well. 2019 ranked 426. Last year, at the end of 2022, he's ranked 291 in the world, and he's had a great 2023, improving on that by nearly 100 points, 80 points, to his current ranking of 143. And his professional win-loss record on grass, he's had a 50% win rate. This is over his career in ITF, ATP, and Davis Cup level matches. In 2023, these stats are his win rate in 2023 is 50%, 68% win rate on clay, and an 88% win rate on hard courts in 2023, which goes some way to explaining his first set performance, dominating performance over Liam Broady of the UK, where he wiped the floor with him and went through 6-love in the first set. Well done, Jesper de Jong. So any other information here about him? Not really. So let's take a look at his opponent and a little bit about his background. So apologies, there's a bit of a lag with the streaming software and the internet, so hope that's not affecting your viewing experience too much. But let's take a look at Liam Broady of the UK and his bio. Just learn a little bit more about him, but he's a fairly well-known tennis player. Had a ripping Wimbledon actually this year, Liam Broady. And he's coached by David Samuel, left-handed, two-handed backhand player from Stockport, England. And wouldn't you know it, there's... hang on. Let's look at his career bio. I'm going to click through another link. There's nothing there. Why is that? That is annoying. Come on. Well, let's go back to his ITF profile, which is possibly, I would guess, a little bit outdated, if I can find it. Oh, dear. Liam, he's been kicking around the professional scene since 2013, where he came into professional tennis at a ranking of 539, and he's mainly been hovering between the mid 100s and the low 300s. Last year his ranking was fairly consistently between 190 and 150 in the world, but he's had some good performances this year, I'd say, getting his ranking down to 108. And his record for 2023 across ITF, ATP tournaments and Davis Cup in 2023, he's got a 45% win rate on grass. Not so good on clay, just 2 wins out of 6 attempts. But the hard court he's doing all right, 75% win rate. So well done, Liam. And let's just keep going with Liam here and kick back into his ATP profile. Let's just see how Liam Broady's hard court season has been going in the tournaments between since Wimbledon leading up to the US Open, and players suspended. Let's just do a quick recap of where things are at with this match currently. Yeah, there's a big lag there. But anyway, the match currently still suspended. No movement there. I can't see too much action on the live blog for the US Open website, so we'll just assume that it's still pretty inclement there. And let's do a little bit of let's just do a little bit of this. No, that's the wrong one. Let's do a little bit of this. So that's Stinger, just letting you know that we're changing it up a bit. So let's just have a look at, continue looking into the profile of Liam Broady and how he's been going this year in 2023 through the US Open, through the US hard court season. He's played about 4 tournaments, 4 tournaments since Wimbledon. So let's just go through those. We won't bother recapping Wimbledon. So he first, after Wimbledon, Liam Broady competed in Newport in Rhode Island at the ATP 250 Tour. And he came up in the first round against the Japanese player Shintaro Mochizuki, and victorious there 6-1, 7-5. I'll just turn this music down a bit. Hang on one second. Where is it? This not really what you want to be doing during a live broadcast, but and then he came up against Australia's Jordan Thompson. He is a scrapper of the highest pedigree, and he was successful and ranked 69 in the world at the time they met. Liam Broady going down to Australia's Jordan Thompson 2-6, 2-6. Then he went on to Washington and played in the ATP 500 tour in the capital there. And his first round match was against the Frenchman Corentin Moutet. Liam Broady victorious there 7-6, 6-4, and he picked up some ranking points here, 20 rankings points and 14 grand US at this tournament, because he exited in the next match up against I'm not going to delve into the background or investigating any flags that I don't recognise here. It's a tricolour like the French flag, but it's actually horizontal. So tell us in the chat if you recognise these flags. So the match there, unfortunately, Liam Broady going down 4-6, 2-6 in straight sets. And then he moved on to Carey, North Carolina, for the ATP Challenger Tour, and had a fairly successful tournament, and especially in terms of match practice, because don't forget that part of the whole reason players go through this through these lead-up tournaments is to get some match practice. And yeah, you want to win. Obviously, you want to win and get as much prize money as you can. But Liam Broady would have been pretty happy with his form through this tournament because he made the semi-finals. His first round match was against a local American, Elliot Spizzirri, where the result went 6-2, 6-2 in favour of Liam Broady. He came up against a little-known Australian. In fact, he's so little-known that I don't know him. Blake Ellis, the Australian, was the next opponent in the round of 16. The Australian lost 6-3, 6-3. Liam Broady went on to the quarter-final, and he was up against Lloyd Harris from South Africa. And he's no slouch, ranked at 188 in the world at the time. He was victorious, Liam Broady, 6-3, 6-4. And I'm just going to fire up this music again. There we go. And the semi-finals, unfortunately, that was as far as Liam Broady managed to progress, going down 4-6, 5-7 in straight sets to Australia's Adam Walton, another Australian coming through the ranks, who I am just as ignorant about Adam Walton as I am Blake Ellis. And that's the whole reason why we focus on this niche, this Australian Open Live, produced by Wise Words Media. We're local in Melbourne, Australia. That's where we're based, the home of the Australian Open. And we've found that our audience really appreciates and enjoys us covering these lesser-known tennis players. And Liam Broady, reasonably well known at 29 years of age, from Great Britain. And he went on to play the Challenger Tour tournament in Winnipeg in Canada, and that was merely last week. And another great run of matches for him, which looking at these last two tournaments he's contested, really surprised that he performed so poorly in the first set of this second round match. But the tournament in Winnipeg, his first round opponent was an American, Strong Kirkheimer. I'm not joking. His first name is Strong, and he is a Kirkheimer. And he lost that match to Liam Broady, 3-6, 3-6. The next opponent was Yu Xu. I'm going to have a look at this, actually, to see where this chap's from, because that is a very unique name and a very unique flag, and he's from Chinese Taipei. That's why I didn't recognise it. But anyway, he lost in 3 sets. Now have a look at this. Liam Broady won 1-6, 6-1, 6-1, which is eerily similar to today's match. He got absolutely spanked in that first set, losing 1-6. He went into the quarterfinals, played one of his countrymen, Billy Harris, whose name looks familiar to me. And Liam Broady successful there, 7-6, 6-4 in that match, and came a cropper in straight sets in the semi-finals, going down 2-6, 3-6 to the Swiss player Leandro Rady. So that's Liam Broady's journey to the US Open, and let's just check out his first round match while we're at it. If I can find it, his first round match was a 3-set affair, played on Monday, I think it was. He also started off very slowly, but won in 3 sets against his opponent Sace. I'll just find out where he is from, because we've got the time, because play is still suspended. Sace is Dutch from the Netherlands. And Liam Broady, the 10th seed in men's qualifying singles, he won his first round match there against the player from the Netherlands, 4-6, 6-1, 6-2. So he's got a habit of starting really slowly, Liam Broady, and at this level you can't really afford that. And it's fair to say that given that he's so experienced at 29 years of age, I mean, kicking around for about 10 or 11 years now on the pro circuit, he should really, you would think he'd have sorted out his game now. And that first round match, it took him an hour and 54 minutes to get through that match and come out victorious on the other side. So maybe it's just a habit or a feature of his game that he just can't iron out yet. So don't go away. We will be right back. We tell stories and our story is tennis. G'day, welcome back to this Australian Open Live produced by Wise Words Media. We are coming to you live from Melbourne, Australia. We're the home of the Australian Open. But today we're covering the US Open 2023 in Flushing Meadows, New York. If you're just joining us, where have you been? It is 7:35 in New York at the moment, and play has been suspended for about the last, coming up to 45 minutes or so. Play suspended due to rain for the second time today, and we are going to stick with the coverage even though play suspended, and just keep you up to date with the match that we're covering today that we'd selected for you on Court 7. The match that had been going an hour and 11 minutes, the men's qualifying singles, the second round qualifying singles match between Liam Broady of the United Kingdom, the 10th seed for men's qualifying, up against the unseeded Jesper de Jong. Jesper went, yes, sir, and spanked Liam Broady all the way back to the change of ends, winning 6-love in the first set, but he lost his first two and only service games in the second set, and he trails love 4 in the second, and that's when play stopped. So at the moment we're just going through the player profiles. And to keep it interesting for those of you that like to be engaged visually, we're going to switch it up a bit for you and just whet your appetite for what's coming up in January 2024 here in Melbourne, Australia, and the sights, sounds, summer in Melbourne, Australia of the 2022 championship point for Ash Barty, her first and last ever Australian Open championship point against Danielle Collins of the US. She was receiving on serve from Danielle Collins, and this footage taken live at Federation Square where the crowds had gathered during those horrible months of COVID to watch Ash bring it home with a sweeping forehand across court, and there it is. And that is the yell of a champion, and we had no idea that however many hours it was later, Ash Barty announced her retirement from professional tennis, and she became a mum for the first time this year after marrying her partner. Well done, Ash, and everybody misses her for sure. So let's now go, but before we go to this, let's do this. Yep. So every time you hear that stinger, we're moving on, switching it up a gear. And the reason we're doing it, switching up a gear, is we're going in just to finish off the background of Jesper de Jong, because part of our coverage is about just giving you some insights into these chaps and the ladies, of course. And we're interested to see how they've come through the lead-up tournaments into this Grand Slam. So let's see how Jesper de Jong performed since Wimbledon. And he did actually play Wimbledon, but we won't go over old ground there. So he was competing at the Challenger Tour in Amersfoort in the Netherlands. His home tournaments there, that he lost in the round of 32 to his French opponent. No, it was another opponent from the Netherlands, Guy Den Uden, and he was victorious over Jesper de Jong 4-6. 6-3, 3-6, so he was right in it there, de Jong. And then he went on to Croatia to play the ATP 250 tournament in Umag, Croatia, and a bit more successful there. After getting through 2 rounds of qualifying, he came up against the Italian Raul Brancaccio, but won that in 3 sets, 4-6, 6-2, 6-3. Came up against the Hungarian in his second round qualifying match, Tomas Barrios Vera, 6-2, 6-4. But his first round match in the main tournament draw, going out to the Italian Matteo Arnaldi, 3-6, 2-6 there. So he moved on into Austria, staying in Europe there, again playing qualifying, because his ranking was 174 as he went into this tournament. And the first round qualifying match there, he was up against the Argentinian Guido Andriozzi, but he lost a tight first set there, 6-7, and couldn't get back into it. He's good at playing 3-set matches, Jesper de Jong, but unfortunately losing that in straight sets, 6-7, 2-6. His final tournament before coming into the US Open was in Poland. So he kept it pretty local, Jesper de Jong. All his lead-up tournaments were in Europe, which makes his performance today in the first set so impressive. But he is a good hard court player, actually. So at the Grodzisk Open in Mazwiki, Poland, at the Challenger Tour tournament, he went straight into the main draw, his ranking being 183 at the time, but he went straight into the main draw, faced another Argentinian, and was doing quite well in that match. It was 6-3, 4-3 in the second before his opponent, the Argentinian, retired. Santiago Rodriguez Taverna retired there, so he got a good workout and then handed the match, unfortunately, as the Argentinian retired. Came up next against Charles Broome, who is definitely no slouch. Charles Broome has some big tickets on him in UK tennis circles. They like the look of this kid, which is why it was such a good victory for Jesper de Jong, winning 6-4, 6-4. He next came up against a local player in the quarterfinals, Marks Kaznowski. I went through there very nicely, thank you very much, 6-love, 6-2. The Swedish player was the opponent in the semi-finals, Elias Yima, and a tight first set, 7-6, and cleaned him right up in the second, 6-1, so a good victory there. And I'm happy to report that in the final, up against Benjamin Hassan, it was a 6-3, 6-3 victory in that final to Jesper de Jong, racking up a title for 2023 and picking up 100 rankings points and taking home $16,000 worth of prize money. That's euros. So a great result for Jesper, and no wonder he was full of confidence facing up against Liam Broady of the UK, the 10th seed in qualifying for the men's singles in the second round of Flushing Meadows. No wonder he went through that like a knife through butter. So let's do a bit of this. So there you go. That's both players' profiles sorted out. And for those of you that prefer to be engaged visually, we've got the Sights, Sounds, Summer of Tennis up and running for you. Just to give you a little taste of what Wise Words Media likes to do once we're on the ground there. We didn't go last year, and looking and planning to get back on site at Melbourne Park from about late November 2023 and bring you some pretty unique footage from Melbourne Park as it goes through the qualifiers and also into the first couple of days of the tournament. So this break in play is looking like it's going to keep going for the time being. There's no word officially about the pause in play. It's an hour since play was suspended across all courts, not just this one. So we'll stick with it for now. So what we might do is we'll take a little break of about 3 to 4 minutes, and when we come back, we'll bring you some results from some completed matches of day 3 for the men. Today we're doing the men. Yesterday we did the women, and tomorrow we'll do dedicated coverage to the women again. And also just a heads up that there's a bonus clip coming from each match that we've covered so far, and they'll all be released during the US Open, and the full match replay, the commentary for a full set of every match we've covered during these 4 days of US Open qualifying, plus the first 2 days of the tournament. We'll be releasing that, rolling that out week to week throughout September, October, November, just to keep you engaged in Grand Slam tournament tennis. So when we come back, we're going to do a little bit of a run through all the completed matches so far for the men's singles qualifying, the second round at Flushing Meadows, New York. So don't go away, because we will be right back.
To be with you tonight for this very special Queen Victoria Market night market, which is all about welcoming our international students. Students over the last 3 years, and we've also been so grateful to those who stayed for persisting and showing so much resilience. Our latest stats show that there are 138,000 international students back in Victoria, which is 92% of pre-pandemic levels. Woohoo! Because international students aren't just valuable on our campuses and in our tertiary institutions, they're fantastic customers and consumers. They're wonderful participants and volunteers. They're incredible workers in our local businesses particularly, and this is about setting up relationships for the long term. If you are an international student, could you please put your hand up?
And our story is tennis in the wet, because play has been suspended. If you're just joining us, where have you been? G'day, welcome to this Australian Open Live produced by Wise Words Media. We are live in our luxurious production studios. We're based in Melbourne, Australia, home of the Australian Open, and this year we've branched out into live coverage, audio only, radio style coverage of all Grand Slams this year, focusing on our specialist niche, qualifying for men's and women's singles at all Grand Slams, plus the first couple of days of tournament play, because that's where all the juicy stories lie in wait for us. So unfortunately, the match that we'd selected to bring to you today, the first match of the day, local Melbourne time, just come out to 9:50 p.m, but unfortunately play is suspended in New York at 7:50 in the evening. Temperature gone up slightly to 20 degrees, but at the moment it's mostly cloudy. Now the good news is, with regards to the weather in New York, that is forecast for Saturday. So in 24 hours time, it's forecast to be 29 degrees for the day. A little bit of sun, a little bit of cloud, and a little bit of thunder. So look out is the word. Don't get stuck out in those lightning storms, but a bit unsettled. But Sunday looking pretty good. Sunday forecast to be 26 degrees and mostly sunny with clouds. So that's pretty good news. But we can't have it our own way all the time. You've got to expect these things to happen with outdoor sport. And you've got to expect people like Liam Broady on court 7, who came out like he had a hangover or something. Was he there? Was he heading the game in the first set? I don't think it was, because the 10th seed lost the first set, love 6, to a rampaging Jesper de Jong of the Netherlands. But Liam Broady, now we can see a bit of a feature within the games of these two guys. Liam Broady always starts off slow in the first set and then usually comes home pretty well, whereas his opponent Jesper de Jong, who has a ripping record on hard courts in 2023, he generally comes out like a house on fire, or a in. I'm not going to bother with that joke. But he lost the first two service games of the second set. Jesper de Jong trails love 4, and that's when play was suspended in the men's qualifying singles, the second round, after an hour and 11 minutes. And it is still suspended across the entire precinct around Flushing Meadows. So in light of that, we're going to switch it up a bit. Switch it up a bit with this. So whenever you hear that stinger, we are changing gears. And for those of you that like to be visually engaged, I'll just bring back that full screen just so you can see for yourselves. But I did put all the information there in the chat, and join the conversation. Don't just like this presentation today. Make sure you subscribe, because you only have to be a subscriber for 60 seconds to join the conversation in the chat. Let us know your thoughts about what you're looking forward to most about the US Open this year. Is there any players outside the top 100 competing in the qualifying that you'd like to know about? Because let's be honest, we're a little bit biased here. We like following the Australians through the 3 Grand Slams across the globe when they're not here competing in Australia. And already we've seen a couple of familiar names doing quite well. So let us know who your favourites are in the chat. So that's the current state of play there for you on screen. So while we switch it up a gear, we're just going to take you through the sights, sounds, summer of Melbourne, captured here over the last couple of years. Wise Words Media covering regional qualifying and going up to Traralgon and Bendigo in those pretty horrible months where regional tournaments and the like had to be rescheduled, and players sent to some pretty unusual locations to get in their match play in the lead up to the Australian tournament. So this year in 2023, we weren't on the ground at the Australian Open, but we plan to get back there this November and December through to January, and bringing you footage from on site live. Speaking of live, it's our intention to bring a live stream outdoor broadcast covering the Australian Open this year. So if you're interested in being involved in that as a commercial partner, or you're a sales professional, or maybe you're in broadcast logistics and operations, you can contact us at consulting@wisewords.com.au. And we'd love to hear from anyone who's interested in that, because we're interested in bringing this content to a bigger audience through the over-the-top streaming sector, because our aim is to create compelling content and deliver that through the Fast Channels product, which is free ad-supported TV content through smart TVs. There's 1.4 billion smart TVs across the globe, and Wise Words Media aims to bring this unique, compelling tennis content to the world. So let's get on with it and do a little bit of this. So just a reminder, whenever you hear that stinger, that is letting you know that we're switching it up and changing pace and direction. And while the rain still is affecting play here in New York, we're going to look at some completed matches in this section. So we'll be going for a good 90 minutes for now, maybe a couple of hours, but once we get through these completed matches, we'll just weigh up things as they stand and see how things are. But let's look at some completed matches here so far. Today, on day 3, we're focusing on the men's qualifying singles. Yesterday, we focused on the women, and as I click through the gears here on the website, excuse my hesitation, the men's qualifying singles. And tomorrow it'll be the women again, and our intention is always to bring you a full full coverage of a single set for any live match that's going while we're broadcasting. But today, unfortunately, the rain has actually put up a bit of a challenge to that strategy. So let's have a look at some of the completed matches for the men's singles qualifying in Flushing Meadows, New York. And there's 6, 12, there's about nearly 18, roughly 15 matches. So we'll go through the first 6 or 7, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and do the final one. So obviously the second round singles, there's less matches, and we'll go through those results. So let's see what's what with the men's singles completed matches. And I can see that the screen just didn't want to behave itself. So we'll just get that expanded out so we can carry on. Oh boy. There's a lag here on the desktop. Why is it doing that? That is just so annoying. Not very professional at all. Is it going to do it this time? No. Hang on 1 minute. Is it going to behave itself this time? I hope so. Yes, no, maybe. So a bit of a lag here. Apologies if you're listening and watching and gritting your teeth and expecting some professionalism. There we go. Okay, so for those of you who are visually engaged, let's get on with it. While you're watching the footage and the archives from the Australian Open over the last couple of years, let's get into these second round singles results. These are all completed matches starting on court 4. That match ran for an hour and 40 minutes. It was between the Frenchmen, testing out my pronunciation here, and I apologise for butchering a lot of these names. It's not my intention to be disrespectful, but QUAL from France, winning in straight sets over old mate Kukishin, the Frenchman winning 7-6, 6-2. Absolutely belted him off the court, belted his opponent off the court, 7 points to love in the first set tiebreaker. And on court 5, that match also going over an hour and a quarter. The Argentinian Correa, the 3rd seed in men's qualifying at the US Open 2023, defeating the American Dam, D-A-M-M, and not Van Dam either, but 6-3, 6-2 straight sets win. And Tirante, another Argentinian, also got up over another American on court 5, the match that was following. Tirante winning in straight sets, 7-6, 6-3 in an hour and 48 minutes. And a good result here for the Aussies. Great to see James Duckworth, the 12th seed in men's qualifying singles, his second round qualifying singles match that ran 3 sets and 2 hours and 48 minutes. So you'd always bank on James Duckworth winning a 3-setter over 3 hours. He was victorious 3-6, 6-4, 7-6. The super tiebreaker, he won 10-8, and he was victorious over the Frenchman Atmane. And great work, James Duckworth. Good to see him progressing into the final there of US Open qualifying. That'll probably be played on Saturday. That'll probably be played... actually, that'll be played tomorrow. The 5th completed match was an all-Italian affair. Giannessi going up against Ziperi, and in straight sets, it was the 30th seed Ziperi victorious over Giannessi 6-3, 6-4. And the final completed match for this block, before we take a quick break, in the men's qualifying singles, the second round, this match going an hour and 34 minutes. It was Klein getting up over the German, the 24th seed, Martera, 7-6, 6-2. So that's how things panned out in the completed matches so far. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll finish off reporting to you the completed matches so far at Flushing Meadows, New York, for the second round of men's qualifying singles for the US Open 2023, taking place at a bit of a soggy, it must be said, Flushing Meadows, New York, where it's mostly cloudy, 20 degrees, and just ticked past 8 o'clock in the evening. So don't go away, we'll be right back. We tell stories, and our story is soggy tennis. Yep, g'day. Welcome back to this Australian Open Live, produced by Wise Words Media. We are based in Melbourne, Australia. The Australian Open is our home Grand Slam, but this year we have decided to make good the suggestion that we ought to cover all Grand Slams. Now, who suggested that? Well, it was our suggestion, really. But happy to be bringing this new, unique, expanded and accelerating strategy of unique content to our audience, because we know that our content is been getting good reception and is being welcomed over the last couple of years. So we thought we'd try to make it a bit more dynamic, a bit more interactive. Don't just like this presentation. Make sure you subscribe, and when you do subscribe, you only have to wait for the grand total of 60 seconds to join us in a conversation in the chat. Let us know what you're looking forward to most about the US Open. Have you got a favourite player who's not really all that well known, like Liam Broady and Jesper de Jong on court 7? They're pretty well known at the moment because they're fighting it out as best as they can. These chaps that they want to progress through to the final and qualify for the main draw of the tournament this year, but they can't. They've gone 2 sets. They're currently it's 6-love. Love 4 to Jesper de Jong when play was suspended just over an hour ago. The match is currently an hour and 11 minutes into proceedings. So let's take you back to the completed results. And for those of you who like to be visually engaged, we'll have this running in the background while we go through these completed results. That's a bit of a surprise. That's okay. Well, happy with that we're able to scroll down the page for the first time ever. So let's have this running in the background. That we won't. Maybe we can have the sound up. No, we can't have the sound up because there's a bit of commentary over this footage, so we don't want to get things confused. But we'll just run in the background. Can we? We can't run any music. Oh, that's all right. So let's straighten up a bit. And before we go on to this, let's do a bit of this. So whenever you hear that stinger, that is letting you know that we are going to change gears a bit, and we've just got to do this again because as much as you can set this automatically. You still got to go in and fiddle around, but that's okay. We are all over it. So we've been through the first block of completed matches, and now we'll just go through the remaining ones. Not a whole lot of matches today compared to the first day one of qualifying for men and women. So let's just take a look at the second block of completed matches for the men, and we'll also go through. There's only what's that? There's only 11 there, so we'll go through all 11 and see what's what. So we had a winner. We had Benoit Paire. Well, he wasn't the winner, the 20th seed out on court 9. It took him 2 hours and 8 minutes to lose the match to his opponent from Chinese Taipei, commonly known as Taiwan to the rest of us. And Zhu was victorious in 3 sets, 6-3, 3-6, 7-5. And on court 10, in an hour and 28 minutes in their second round men's qualifying singles match on court 10, it was the American Zheng going down to the Finnish player Virtanen, who is the 28th seed. So not quite an upset there, because Zheng was going into this match unseeded in qualifying. He lost 1-6, 6-3, 3-6. And, that's a bit of a shame. I was hoping he'd get through. So the reason that I'm reacting in surprise and disappointed surprise for this kid, we followed his match live on day one. Giovanni Pecci Pericard, the Frenchman, he's 20 years old, from Lyon. He had a screamer of a first-round match against the Brazilian Thiago Monteiro, and he won in 3 sets. They were all tiebreakers. Each player won on a tiebreak. The young Frenchman came out victorious, steaming home in the tiebreaker, and he had his tail up. Well, I'm sorry to say and report that he's lost his second-round match, but you wouldn't believe it. He has lost his second-round men's qualifying singles match on court 11 in 2 hours to the American Mayo, who is victorious, get this, 7-6, 7-6. The young Frenchman losing 8 points to 6, 10 points to 8 in that match. That is a real heartbreaker. But on the other hand, keep an eye on this Frenchman. He has a lot of chops about his game, and the biggest asset that I'd say he has in his game is his mentality. Very strong mentally in the clinches. That got him through that first round match. It was unbelievable the way he performed. So that's a bit of a shame he won't be progressing, but he should pop up at the Australian Open in January 2024, and I'm going to make a note to keep an eye out for him, because that kid can play. So court 12, we had a very familiar name there, winning in 2 hours and 31 minutes on court 12. It was Taro Daniel, the American seeded number 4 and born in America, but representing Japan, Taro Daniel, and he won in 3 sets, 6-2, 4-6, 6-1. His Korean opponent on the day was Hong. On court 13, we had an American up against a Chinese player, and the American went down in front of his home crowd. He lost his second round men's qualifying singles match in 2 hours and 5 minutes and lost in straight sets. Kipson defeated by Shang of China 4-6, 6-7. He lost the tiebreaker 7 points to 2. And we had a Italian up against I don't recognise that flag, so we're not wasting time investigating flags, but it was Skatov, the 23rd seed, defeating the Italian Brancaccio 6-4, 6-3 in an hour and 32 minutes. And before we do this, we're just going to do this. So whenever you hear that stinger, we are switching up gears. So going on to the final 4 completed matches so far. And remember that match play has been suspended in Flushing Meadows, New York at the moment due to a second break because of rain. So unsuitable for tournament play, but out on court 15, they got the job done. It was the Swiss player Stricker, the 22nd seed, winning in 3 sets against the Spaniard Llamas Ruiz. The Spanish player losing 7-6, 4-6, 6-7. Couple of tight tiebreakers there, and the super tiebreaker in the deciding set tiebreaker actually went to 13. Stricker winning 13 points to 11. So remember that where previously all tiebreakers in all deciding sets in all tournaments used to go as long as they had to until one player could get a advantage of 2 points. A few years ago, the professional tours for men and women, they decided to agree that all deciding sets would be the first player to reach 10 points. So if the player's leading 9-love in the deciding set tiebreaker, they can't win that deciding set of the match until they get to a super tiebreak, which is 10 points. So hope that clears up any confusion. Now, the remaining 3 matches, court 16 in 2 hours, it was the Argentinian Comensana defeating the Italian Gaio. The Argentinian did all right here in 3 sets, 6-3, 5-7, 6-1. It was the Brazilian up against, it was a South American grudge match on court 17. In an hour and 34 minutes, the Brazilian defeating the Argentinian, the 29th seed losing 4-6, 2-6 to Melajani Alves. And the final match, and I'm happy to say it's good news for Mark Polmans of Australia. He's pretty experienced in qualifying for Grand Slams and has also received a couple of wild cards for his home Grand Slam. Today, his second round match in men's qualifying singles in an hour and 33 minutes. It was Mark Polmans unseeded against Novak, not Novak Djokovic, Dennis Novak, 6-3, 6-1. That's a great note to finish up on. Great to see today that Mark Polmans and also James Duckworth were successful. I can't remember whether I saw a result there for Jordan Thompson, so we'll have to check that later on. So what we're going to do is take another break, and when we come back, and apologies, that screen did not go full screen, and being a anally obsessed professional, I have to get that looking right before we move away from it in about 10 seconds. But we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to just look at what other matches are live but suspended on the men's side of the draw only in Flushing Meadows, New York, where play is yet to get back underway. And it's the second time that play has been suspended on day 3 of qualifying for men and women. So when we come back, that's what we'll be doing. So don't go away. We will be right back. We tell stories, and our story is tennis. G'day, welcome back to this Australian Open Live. It is our live coverage produced by Wise Words Media. We're based in Melbourne, Australia, home of the Australian Open, and today we're bringing you live coverage, audio only, radio style coverage of men's and ladies qualifying, singles only. In all 4 days of qualifying, and also we'll bring you coverage of singles for men and women the first 2 days of the US Open, starting on is it Sunday or Monday? It doesn't matter, whatever day it is, we'll be there. So the story is that unfortunately the play is suspended at the moment. We were hoping to bring you at least a minimum of 2 matches live coverage of qualifying today for the men. Yesterday was dedicated to the women. Tomorrow we'll alternate back to the women, so there'll be 2 days each for both men and women. But unfortunately today we've been stopped in our tracks, like the players, as we refresh the screen there, and you can see for yourself, and we'll just bring that up to full screen for you, that as far as Liam Broady and Jesper de Jong are concerned, they've got to cool their jets. Their match suspended well over an hour ago now. They'd been playing for an hour and 11 minutes. Play was suspended just as Liam Broady was just starting to cook. He'd come out so slow out of the blocks. I was starting to wonder whether he'd his plane arrived late, or maybe he went to the wrong airport exit, losing that first set, love 6. And then he broke twice before play was suspended, and he was looking on track to win the second set. So Liam Broady, the 10th seed from the United Kingdom, habitually gets off to very slow starts in most of his matches, which is a bit of a waste of energy if you're not on point, because his opponent, Jesper de Jong, he has had a cracker of a year on the hard courts throughout 2023, and I think I saw that he's got 87% win rate this year. So Broady, no doubt, knew that, and he still got out of the blocks really slow anyway. So well, hopefully he knows what he's doing. So we're going to now do a little bit of this. So when you hear that stinger, that is signifying that we are switching it up a gear. And apologies for the lag today, for the slow functionality of our content. So not much we can do about that today. Although I suppose I could shut down, I've got a few tabs open. I suppose I could shut them down. But that's just more indicative of the the 8 gigabyte laptop that I'm running off. If you want to donate to Wise Words Media, shout us a coffee or shout us a ground pass. The PayPal facility, the address is available in the description for this presentation. We'll put that forward to the next generation laptop we've got our eyes on, the 16 gig HP laptop, which will be far faster, which means we'll get leave the lag behind us. It'll be a thing of the past. So anyway, we really appreciate you joining us here today on this Australian Open Live, and we are going to go check out the men's matches that are live but also currently suspended, men's qualifying singles. So let's see how many matches there are. There's just 6 matches that are incomplete. So let's take a look. Well, we already know what's going on court 7. So let's go switch attention out to court 4, where play was suspended as this match was just completing the first set in 37 minutes with QUAL, the 17th seed from France, won that first set in fairly straightforward fashion against his Japanese opponent, Mochizuki. And they were probably just about to step out and start the second set when play was suspended. On court 11, the match between the American and the Canadian, my goodness, that's a grudge match if ever I saw one. And it's our old mate, Pospisil leading that match. 1 set completed so far. He took the first set off his American opponent, Zavsta. 6-3, suspended at the American leading 3-2 in the second set. On court 12, a match that had been going an hour and 20 minutes and heading towards completion. But it's never safe to assume, because the Japanese player Shimizu, he had his French opponent Gaston, the 6th seed in men's qualifying singles at Flushing Meadows. He had him at deuce they'd completed the game. He lost. He won the first set, 6-4, the Japanese player. So he was trailing 2-4 to the Frenchman in the second set. So that's, you'd have to say that's sort of evenly poised if Gaston, the Frenchman, the 6th seed against the unseeded Japanese. So that'd be interesting to follow that match if it comes back up live while we are broadcasting here. The final 2 live matches that are suspended because of rain for the second time today in New York is court 13. It's old mate Borna Gojo, the player from Croatia. How easily I forget. He was victorious 2 days ago against the young 20-year-old from Serbia, Hamed Medjedojic. But today, Borna's going all right, thank you very much. 1 hour and 8 minutes into the match, he was leading 6-3, and the match was at deuce in the first game of the second set. So Borna, he's in a good position there, and the final match out on court 16 had only been going 15 minutes before it was stopped. In the second round of men's qualifying singles, it was the German Onslen up against another Japanese player, Shimabukuro, that player. And both of these players unseeded for qualifying. And the German dropped his first service game, but his second service game, he was 40-15 ahead, but trailing love 2 in the first set after 15 minutes. So refreshing the screen here, I'm pretty sure what the result will be. That play is still suspended for all live matches, which is the case. And just checking the US Open live blog, no update there that I can see. So whoever's on blog duty at the US Open, they must have gone home to change or something, because there's no word whatsoever about the state of play. So I would say it is time for us to take a break and just weigh up how things look for the rest of our broadcast this morning. So don't go away. We'll be right back. And our story has been cut short this morning by rain interrupting play in Flushing Meadows, New York for the second time today, apparently. G'day, Welcome to This Australian Life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're here, you made it. And if you're just joining us, where have you been? We've been waiting for you, and it's 8:27 in New York at the moment. The weather, it's 20, mostly cloudy, but the great news is, if you're worried about the weather over the weekend in New York, it's going to be pretty unsettled during Saturday, New York time. There's going to be cloud, there's going to be sun, there's going to be lightning, there's going to be thunder. It sounds like a romance movie to me. But 29 degrees in New York for Saturday, and 26 degrees, a lot more settled on Sunday. So hopefully the qualifying is done and dusted in plenty of time, so the players participating, whoever wins through to the main draw, they can get a good recovery, good massage, some decent sleep, and dry off and front up for their first round match, and also the wild cards. I'm assuming that the US Open will be giving the bulk of their wild cards this year to local players, and it's great to see the US men and the US women. The US women have been performing pretty well over the last 3 to 5 years, and about time, I say it's about time that the blokes started making up more than the numbers, that they're coming back into contention for titles and into the rankings and this and that and the other. So that's great news for US tennis, but it's also great for us because it means that there'll be a lot of great tennis to carry on for those of us that have enjoyed the careers of all the big name players: Serena Williams, Venus Williams, that's the Russian. Why? Maria. Well, there's Maria Sakkari, of course, and Simona Halep. But Maria Sharapova, there you go. And Andy Murray and Roger Federer, Uncle Roger Federer, and Novak Djokovic. Well, this Australian Open Life, we like to shine a light. We like to showcase. We like our Shotmaker Showcase, focusing a light and the player watch on the lesser-known players, but they're not lesser-known talents. They're not lesser-known talents. I think I see what direction this broadcast is going. It's maybe time to stop. Yeah, it's the lesser-known players we like to shine a spotlight on and showcase, because the margins at the top, especially around the top 100, which is you've got to be within to get a main draw entry to any Grand Slam, as well as Indian Wells and some of the other bigger challenger tournaments outside the Grand Slams. You've got to be in the top 100 to get a berth and a Guernsey in the first week of any Grand Slam tournament. But we enjoy focusing on and learning about the up-and-coming players, such as Jesper de Jong from the Netherlands, who's a cracker of a player, and the young fella that we saw the other day from France, Giovanni Pericol, and also yesterday a great performance by the local American from Pennsylvania. She comes from a town called King of Prussia, Pennsylvania in America, the 23-year-old Ann Lee. It took her 15 minutes to close out the match. There wasn't a rain delay, there was some delay of some sort. We don't know what it was, but we do know that she came through with the goods eventually against her Mexican opponent, Martinez Cerise, who performed pretty well but lost eventually in the third set there. So that's about all we've got for you today. We've tried to bring you as much live action as we can. We've been through the completed match results for the men. We have been through the incomplete live match results, play suspended for the men also, because today we're focusing on the blokes. Tomorrow we'll be back, provided we don't sleep in, and if we do, we'll be back anyway to bring you the final day of qualifying, day 4 at the US Open 2023 in Flushing Meadows. So we're just going to go through the last couple of minutes here and just have a general chat. We really appreciate having your company today. We've got a very broad global audience. We've got a couple of dedicated listeners, and we enjoy all the feedback and all the participation that comes along with these broadcasts. And if you're not a subscriber, why not? Please subscribe, because you only have to wait 60 seconds to join the conversation with us in the chat. But if not, we'd really hope you show your appreciation by liking this live stream presentation, and also dropping a comment or two, because it all helps drive the content out to a bigger audience. And speaking of bigger audiences, if I've got time, yep, I've got 2 minutes left to have a bit of a waffle. But speaking of content, dynamic content, Wise Words Media, we're based in Melbourne, Australia, and our story is storytelling with a commercial outlook, and we're looking for commercial partners, commercial partnerships with sales professionals, operations professionals, broadcast professionals, and also anyone in the over-the-top streaming space. There's 1.6 billion smart TVs in the world, and the fast channels sector that provides the platforms to take out that content is growing at a ridiculous pace, and Wise Words Media aims to be part of it. So if you want to join with us in a commercial partnership and collaborate to get a live stream outdoor broadcast going in Melbourne, Australia, broadcasting from the centre of Melbourne, and bringing this unique content to a bigger audience, we want to hear from you. You can contact us, consulting at wisewords.com.au, consulting at wisewords.com.au, and we'd love to have a chat, and we'd love to have a collaboration and tell you more about our plans, because destination marketing is a pretty easy topic for us to tackle, and we love talking about Melbourne, showcasing the Australian Open. But of course, the vehicle is the Australian Open, but the content is the tennis, and we can tell many stories through the vehicle of tennis as a topic. So that's about it for now. Thanks for joining us today. You've been listening to me. I am the bloke who talks, and also the bloke who walks. And you've been listening to this Australian Open Live, produced by Wise Words Media in Melbourne, Australia. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and bye for now.